All right. Oh, the light is on already. All right. Okay. Let's talk about this. Um, we are back here now. We got Liam with us.
Yeah.
This is the
Hello.
best part. Um,
The most requested guest of all time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
let's tell everybody who we are. I'm Franklin Aguirre from Aguirre's Fighting System, and I am here with these big guys.
My name is Adrian Garcia. I train here at Aguirre's, and I work for the Fontana Police Department.
Same. Kellen Guthrie. I work for Fontana, and I've been training at Franklin's for a while.
Liam Coughlin, white belt here at Aguirre's, and I also work Fontana Police Department.
I already told everybody that you were purple belt.
Yeah.
That's too high of an
This
expectation.
is great.
Coach.
This is great. No, it's good to have you guys back. I like this. This is one of my favorite podcasts. But I really want to talk about you guys as not just as cops, but as my friends. Like, how was your life away from being, the days that you don't work? How is a normal life for you guys? For me, it's like I'm always here.
Yeah.
I'm always playing around with my friends. But I want people to know about you guys, like apart from being a cop, apart from.
Oh, for me, I got to be honest, I don't do a ton of cop work anymore anyway. I sit in an office and answer emails and go to meetings. But, off duty, for me, my big thing is just to, spend time with my family because the job requires so much of you, especially if you take it very seriously. And our department, works really hard, and we expect a lot out of our guys. So you spend a lot of time here. And for me, my biggest thing is just to go home and try to be a dad and a husband and those types of things. But yeah, kind of like you, I try to get here as much as I can too. I live kind of far away, so I don't come in as much on my off days. But during the week, I'm here as much as I can.
And but how now you say you're in the office and everything, but how hard is to just deal with all the stuff that you guys deal out there, and then going home and
Yeah, I mean, I'll let these guys talk about it too. But for me, yeah, it can be difficult. I just, for me, it's always been, I guess I would say, easier than it is for others because of my home life, right? I'm really dedicated to my wife and to my family, and I really do my best to, when I go home, I'm a dad and a husband. And while being a police officer is very, very important to me, and I'm very honored to be one, I try not to make it my entire life and personality, so that when you have those rough days, you can go home and just kind of enjoy being home. Although it's easier some days than others.
Yeah, I think the same for me. I like to spend time with my kids. My son's an adult. My daughter's in high school, and she plays soccer. So we do a lot of soccer events, practice. Now that she can drive, I don't have to take her to practice anymore, but games and things. And then on the weekends, I'm either doing stuff with my daughter, or if I'm not, I'm just around waiting to see if she needs me for anything. And then I'm just tinkering in the garage or the yard. And dealing with work, it definitely can make you a little bit paranoid and make you put people at arm's distance. And you just have to remind yourself, not everybody's a bad guy. And in my career in particular, I did a lot of sex crime stuff. And I'm still doing it. When you have kids, I mean, it makes you think everybody's after your kids sometimes. And you have to be you have to guard yourself that you don't, want to turn into a hermit. You have to remember, you just have to remind yourself, most people are good people. There are some bad people out there, but it's not everybody. And it's something I think all cops have to resist, is that mentality that everybody's a bad person. You have to remember most people are good people, and we're all on the same side. And then we just got to weed out the bad ones. But it is a little tricky when you have kids and you're doing stuff at work where kids are being harmed often. You can get a little weird about it sometimes. But for me, it was just being around my kids, being around my friends. And I always had good relationships with my neighbors, and I'd spend a lot of time with my neighbors. None of them are police officers. So there was just always a reminder that, most people are just normal people. They're not criminals. They're not trying to hurt people. And these are actually the people that I go to work to try to help. Is to weed out the ones that are a problem and get them away from the good people. So it just takes a little bit of constant reminder and just doing normal things when you're not at work so you can feel normal again.
That's great. Adrian?
Yeah, for me, I've just recently gone back to work in patrol a couple months ago. Before that, I was working on an undercover team. And the biggest a readjustment for me has been You know, because when I'm working the undercover side, you know, we deal with a lot of bad dudes and women, but being back in patrol, the toughest thing is like you just see a whole level of evil that you don't really see a lot in terms of the things that people are capable of doing to each other. So it's been a big readjustment again for me to go back and see these things and have to go home and try to separate that home life. So that's been difficult. And I know we talked about it the last time we were here, but like this stuff, training helps a lot. And it's funny because my wife will even say, she's like, I can tell when you haven't been on the mat. She's like, I can tell when you haven't rolled in a few days or however long, and it's very noticeable. So
I you know, Leon says something about how, you know, going home with your family and after you do whatever you were doing, and, you know, like seeing crimes at that level with kids. I always tell you guys are my heroes because I don't think I can deal with that. I don't think, honestly, it would be like the hardest thing for me to know that somebody is doing something bad to a kid, and hey, let's put him in the big house, and a few months later the person is out. Unfortunately, and I'm probably wrong, but fortunately for you guys, all you can do is just put the freaking person in that place, and then the law is in charge of, you know, letting him go. Or that is what freaked me out. Then I don't know how many of those guys live in my neighborhood.
Yeah, you don't.
More than you would think.
You know, and then knowing that, I'm always thinking about that. You know, sometimes I gotta go work, and my wife is home alone, and I'm constantly thinking about making phone calls, making sure, because of that, and I don't deal with that.
Yeah.
You guys see it firsthand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say like, so I've had people ask me, and they don't mean anything by it. They'll ask like, oh, they don't know any police officers, or, you know, don't know many, and they'll say, well, what's the worst thing you've ever seen? And I always tell them, first of all, you don't want to know that.
Yeah.
No, seriously. And then the way that I usually just answer is like, hey, like just stuff with kids, dude. Like seeing stuff with kids it's not.
Yeah.
You know, adults, we make decisions, we make bad decisions, we make good decisions. But we're adults, we made those decisions. The kid stuff is bad. And I think if you talk to the vast majority of police officers, not only in America, but across the world, they would tell you that's probably the most difficult thing to deal with. And, you know, everyone deals with it differently. But like for me, one big thing I try to remind myself is that only so many people can do this job. Not that you couldn't do this job, but do this job and handle it psychologically and mentally. So I just try to remind myself, like, I was given this ability to be able to do this and to be able to handle this and still be a normal human being. So this is my service to the community, because a lot of people probably couldn't handle that. And not that I'm better than them. I was just given the ability to do it. And just try to remind myself of that. Like, you know, a lot of good people couldn't put up with this, and for whatever reason I can. So this is my duty to do it.
It's crazy, yeah? Because I'm honestly, I always think about that. There is some jobs that I say, God, I'm glad I am not that person. I thank God for you guys, because I'm blessed to know cops on a personal level for a long, long time. Jim Burton. Mm-hmm. I know this guy for 25, 26 years. And one of the best guys, best friends I ever had. This guy is like the nicest person I ever met. Yeah, he is. 26 years, I never seen him mad. Seriously.
Yeah, he has a great temperament.
He will punch you laughing, smiling. Yeah. He is that kind of person. He is such an... And I have been around you guys for a while, and I know there is a person that seems to be a cop. It's not the other way around, you know.
Yeah.
It's a job like any other job, but it's a job that only people like you guys can do. Yeah. Honestly, that's how I see it. This is not for everybody. This is not for everybody. And for you to go and see the things that you're going to see and then just go put the head in the pillow and go to sleep, I don't think I can do that, because I take everything so personal. I always tell people, that's one of the jobs that I can never do. And I know when it's being a pastor. I tell people, because if you come and tell me that you have a problem, I am the whole night with my eyes wide open, thinking, how can we fix this? How can I help this person? And that's how I live my life. Unfortunately, I can't change that.
Yeah.
That's how I am. That's the kind of person I am. I'm really when I have a friend, that person is a friend of mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And knowing that you're going through something is hard for me. That's why it's hard for me to imagine that I can deal with something like that. Because
Yeah, it would be difficult for you. I mean, you think about like our patrol officers or even just, any of our officers. A lot of times in one shift alone, they'll have something like that where they interview a child that something bad happened. Then maybe they hand it off to the investigators, the detectives, and the detectives will take it over. Well, once the detectives take it over, that officer's going right back out on patrol, and he could go to a domestic violence. He could go to a violent car crash where someone's seriously injured. And if you're not able to, it sounds horrible sometimes, but if you're not able to just let that last one go and move on to the next one, it's going to eat you up, and you're not going to make it. It's just going to be too hard for you.
okay, how crazy this is. You just say something that is, I always tell people, it's like when I go and coach somebody like in tournaments or stuff like that, and you go and you lose a match, and you got to compete again. What I always tell people, kids and adults, hey, there is nothing we can do about that fight. That one is over. But there's something we can do with this one in front of us.
Yeah.
Then focus on that one. It's interesting that you use that mentality, because sometimes we have no choice but just keep on doing what we're doing,
Just keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just wanted to add, in California is a little soft on crime, but if you mess with kids in California, they still take that serious. You go to prison if you mess with kids in the state,
good.
like, for a long time or for life. And I know, there are some soft on crime policies in California, but they're still getting it right when it comes to people messing with kids in the
Great.
state. If you mess with kids, you're going to go away. And in San Bernardino County, especially, that they have some really great prosecutors over there, and you will go to prison for a long time or for the rest of your life if you get caught messing with kids, which is, it's not a positive thing, but it's a positive side in California that they haven't let that go. They still take that very seriously.
That's great.
I would say, like, for me, and I can't, I don't know if it was the same for these guys. They've been cops a heck of a lot longer than I have. But, when you first become a cop, you're so proud. You want to tell everybody, I'm a cop. You just went through this academy that was tough, and you're extremely proud of making it, and you finally make it to the streets, and you get off training, and you're proud. You want to put the blue line flag on your truck and, shout to the rooftops. But one thing that I pride myself on recently, over the past few years anyway, is like one of the biggest compliments I get, like from neighbors, friends, or whoever, people I just meet. Oh, I had no idea you were a cop. And it's not because I'm living my life a certain type of way that's not good or wouldn't align with the values of a police officer, but I want people to know that, being a police officer is a job, and a lot of people that are not cops, it's funny, we hold cops to this super high standard, justifiably so, because, we're upholding the law, and we have a lot of responsibility, a lot of privilege in terms of some of the things that we do, but it is a job, and you got to be able to separate that. And people, as soon as they find out you're a cop, oh, you're a cop 24/7 in their eyes. You're a cop, whether you got the uniform on or not. I can't tell you how many times I've had neighbors, oh, hey, can you sign this ticket for me? Or, hey, can I get your advice on this incident? And I'm like, man, I'm off. I don't want to be doing cop stuff when I'm not getting paid for it. And again, it's not about the money. I think we all have a higher calling. That's why we get into the profession. But just know, like, hey, we're men. We're not. I'm not a cop 24/7. I personally, I'd rather be recognized as a martial artist than a cop. I'd rather people know that I do jiu-jitsu and I, have been involved in martial arts.
It's interesting because I know you guys for a while, and I know a lot of you guys. I would never ask for something like that. Seriously, I don't want that you guys think, okay, he's helping out because of this. Sometimes, I know you guys help me with some of the stuff that I'm struggling with and stuff like that. But I feel bad, like asking for something like that because you can't you can't rescue your job just to help me because or put you in a bad spot because dude, I just want from the bottom of my heart I just want to help. Honestly, I love being here. I love working with you guys. This is one of my favorite classes, and for me is I'm proud to be you guys' friend. Seriously, I love being you guys' friend because, especially the way that you guys treat each other. I'm telling you, I train with people from other departments, and I'm not gonna talk bad about any other department, but the relationship that you guys have with each other is amazing.
That's
You
nice
don't
to
see
hear.
that with every department that I work with, and they still have a good. But you guys are like brothers. Seriously, when I see you guys in that mat, is like I don't know who is the boss or who. Everybody is just having fun, learning, and that's another thing. Something that I love about you guys is how much you guys care about being ready in the, tactical survival tactics area. Because if I'm a cop, I want them they call me one of you guys. Seriously. If I'm a cop and I go into domestic violence or something, I want you guys with me because I know we are gonna deal with. I can trust you. You can trust me. We can do that kind of stuff, and that's another thing. You guys are so good in doing that.
Well, I think it's important for it. Like one thing to talk about being here and training a bunch is I think a lot of cops could admit the same thing when you watch, especially now that there's body worn camera, right? There's all this footage. Like one of the worst things in the world for me to watch is like a situation on a body worn camera, and I can tell where it's going, and then it's going to go south, and there's nothing I can do about it because it's already happened. I'm just watching, whether it's on YouTube or one of our videos or whatever. It literally makes me nauseous to watch it, and I just want people to be here training and getting better, so that there's less and less and less of those videos. Now there's factors that are wild that you can't control, and who knows what could happen, but when you can just see it happening and you're watching it and you're like, oh my gosh, please get control of this situation. Please get control of this situation. And they don't. And then you know how it's going to end, or it's going to end badly or whatever. And there are some things that we can't control, but it's, that's what I think at least really drives me. Like the first time I went to jiu-jitsu, I played college football. I was a bigger dude. I thought I could handle myself, but I had never really trained any martial arts. And his name's Levi, actually. I hope he's still a deputy at Riverside Sheriff's. He's 130 pounds. At the time, I weighed like 190. And he spent the next 6 minutes humbling me, and it was a real eye-opening experience. And that was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, dude, if I don't train this on top of my tactics, on top of my firearms training, on top of all these other things, I'm gonna get beat up and hurt out there. And that was the start of it for me, for my own personal. And then I started teaching, and there's some people at departments, we don't always get along, and I'm a lieutenant, so maybe they don't like lieutenants or admin or whatever. But if anyone from the department wanted to work on something, I know I could get Adrian here. I know I could get you here. I would be here, Tyler, or any of these guys would be here for hours if they needed help, because I don't want to watch those videos anymore, especially anyone from our department.
That now that you say that somebody humbled you for a little bit, George came, and we were having a conversation probably a month ago. And he used to train before boxing and some stuff. And he said that he had been humbled 2 times in his life. He said, and one of those times was the day that I came here. He said, because I came here thinking that I was, good and what. He said, and everybody beat me up. He said, I went home, and my wife looked at me and said, what happened? And he said, this stuff really helped us in that area. Like, you need to keep on doing it. Even if you feel comfortable where you are right now, it's good to be a little bit better tomorrow. You know what I mean? And you guys are a good example of that. You guys are good. Seriously. You guys are really, really good in what you do. and you're good martial artist and still coming and trying to learn a little bit more. Like 30 minutes ago, I see you like there with Captain Burton and Tyler and the guys, and sometimes somebody do something to you, then you say, okay, how can I stop this? Why did this happen in the street? What and this is the best place to learn. Why not? Why, it's so hard for us sometimes to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's I just think it's just so important for what you do, for whatever. You can go anywhere with the confidence that I don't care.
Yeah.
I can, take care of myself right here. I can do my job better because of
For sure.
hour and a half a week here.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Well, it's a chance to pump Liam up because he'll never say anything nice about himself. And although he does look like he's 29 years old, he's towards
that's
the
nice of
end.
you.
It's towards the end of his career, and we got him here a year ago.
Yeah.
Started training a lot more. We can't get some officers in their 20s in here, but Liam's about to retire in a few years, and he's here 3-4 days a week now, and he's gotten so much better. And again, he's kind of like me. He's not typically out on the streets. He does more field work than I do, but he's typically in the office as well. And he could have just wrote his career out and been lazy and got his pension and gone home. And he's here training a bunch. And I do think it's a great example for our department or any department that comes here and sees him training, because he's gotten a lot better,
I know Adrian is really good. You are really good. Captain Bert is really good. Tyler, there is a lot of guys really good. But if you ask me, which guys do you think got better faster from the Fontana PDS, Liam and Katie?
Yeah.
Oh my
100%.
goodness.
Thanks,
Give me a
Coach.
bloody lip today.
I'm not kidding you, because we already have, a background in martial arts, and we already, have been rolling for a couple of years. So you guys just, Liam came here and, with pretty much nothing about what we're doing now. And you roll with Liam, and I gotta bully him. No, he's gonna bully me. He's
Thanks,
getting
Coach.
and it's so good to see that.
I love doing it. It's really fun. Even you were talking about getting humbled and losing. I think that's a good part of it, is getting beat up, because I come in here and lose and I'm getting beat up, but it's my really good guys that are beating me up. And so I'm losing, but it's confidence building. You better be really good, because the guys that are beating me up are really good. And if you're not, then I'm going to be all right with you. If you're not, because it's good guys that beat me up with a lot of skill and a lot of strength and a lot of endurance. So if you don't have what they have, I think I'm going to be all right with you. I think I can survive it. Even if I lose for a little while and I'm uncomfortable, you're probably going to get tired, because these guys don't. They keep going and they take over with technique. I'm going to be uncomfortable, and I'm just going to wear it for a while, and I'm going to wait till you get tired, and then I'm going to take over and defend myself. So getting beat up and getting humbled it's actually a really positive thing, at least for me, because it's taught me to endure. Like, at first I was tapping for everything, no matter what happened. Just I get a little uncomfortable and I would tap. But now I'm getting choked and things are getting stretched out. And unless I know, they left a little space, I think I can
get out.
I can hold off for a minute. Yeah. So losing actually makes you, I don't know, not better at losing, but just more durable. It makes you a little tougher when you get beat up a lot. Like, okay, I've been beat up worse than this. Big deal.
That is true.
Yeah, kind of to touch back on what you talked about, how, the closeness. Our unit in particular, the TAC unit, we've been together for a long time now. We've been a lot of the units are temporary, where you get picked for a team and you get to do, you're lucky to do 2 to 4 years in that particular unit. Our unit is, I was actually lieutenant when he was a sergeant. He gave me the opportunity to get on a team. I don't think I was off probation. So I basically started my career in this unit, and we've all kind of slowly grown into what we are today. And we talk every week, almost every day. We send each other videos. We talk about techniques. Hey, we hold each other accountable. Hey, you guys going to training tomorrow? No, I'm not going to be there. Oh, why aren't you going to be there? So, that's a testament to, I think, the passion of the guys involved. and now we got Sarge over here involved. We got a couple other people like Katie, Matt Rogers, guys and girls that are really buying in, and it's slowly but surely growing. And our hopes is obviously one day we can get everybody in the department that's a certified blue belt or instructor.
We are going to.
So that's the ultimate goal. And if we didn't have the guys on the team that had the passion for it and actually cared, it's a good combination of guys that have the passion, that want to teach, that want to make the department better, but also all of us want to make ourselves better as well. Like we come here every day not just to help each other, but also to grow ourselves.
Yeah, that's really good, and I think that's why it's so good because having you guys as leaders of this department, going back to John Burton,
Yeah,
because seriously, going back to him, he is like so. He loves this sport. You can see that I pay attention when he is like with you guys, and he's still passionate about it. He loved to teach. He loved to help you in anything that he did you guys need, and he had no problem in staying 30 minutes after. Yes, how that is being blessed, having a guy that is your boss pretty much, and spending time on you. Then he don't have to. You're not paying me for this. You know what I mean? And he's doing it because he love it, and he wants you guys to get better and everything. And that is
It's awesome for us.
Yeah.
and it's funny because he's my my story of humility is come from him. I remember when I first got to Fontana PD, I remember thinking, I'm pretty, I think I'm pretty good. There's no way there's not a cop in this area that's gonna be able to beat me in grappling. And I remember the first time I rolled with him, and he just mopped me up. And I remember thinking, like, what the heck? Like, there's no way. Like, there shouldn't be a cop around. Like, the years I've been grappling, there shouldn't be a cop around that should be able to even hold me down in this. And he absolutely put a whooping on me. And so he's like a big inspiration for me to get in here and continue and get better.
That's so good.
So I'm very grateful, like you said, to have him as well, because he's been a huge catalyst for this whole thing for us. So I'm thankful to have him in our corner for sure.
And what about the other side, like the SWAT? I'm that is another group of guys that I love to have in the gym, because it's totally the other way around. These are guys that are big, strong, and they came here to learn how to do everything without has to be like just because there is some other big guys out there. Then you always run into somebody that is bigger and stronger than you.
Always.
And I pay attention to everything that happens with them a lot, because we started training with the SWAT about a year ago, maybe a little bit.
Coming up on a year.
Yeah. And I remember when they came here, how their attitude was different.
Yeah.
Because, these are guys that they are physically strong, physically
Big
like
boys.
And then I remember the first few times they were rolling with us. You remember? And I remember rolling with some of the guys and some of the big guys, and they were like, they just couldn't believe that somebody could just control them the way that it was happening to them. And lately, when I see them rolling and everything, I see such a big difference. They are getting so technical in everything that they do, and they pay attention a lot to everything that is happening. What kind of conversation do you guys have after you guys leave the gym? Do you guys like? I don't know. Chris, the big guy he was here today. He approached me one day and he said, "Coach, I don't feel like I am getting better. I don't know. I keep drilling and I am doing it, but when I am rolling, I can't, execute the move that we." The day after the SWAT was here, and he was with the big guys. Dude, Chris hold everybody, and nobody could get out of him. Yeah. And he looked at me at the end, and it was like, it's working. Then I got next to him, and he said, Coach, no. It was good today. It was a good day. It's good to see these big guys, seeing the benefits of doing what we are doing here. And
absolutely. Yeah, it's not just the SWAT guys, but the people that come to this class day at 9:00. I do feel bad for them in a slight respect, because there's a lot of good dudes here training, and so they show up as white belts, and especially Nogi, they're not really understanding that there's 4 brown belts. Captain Burton's a black belt. You've been training. You're a black belt for how many decades? Then there's a bunch of striped purple belts and a couple of blue belts. So they show up new and they're just getting pounded. And it takes a little while until they get to train with someone else, or in particular, if they train for someone from another school, I think is a big thing, that where they finally get like, oh, I am getting better. I'm just training with really good dudes all the time that are beating me up. But when I train with someone at my level, I'm actually much better than them. So there's that. And the SWAT guys are getting it too. It's one of those things like, you just keep telling them like, you're all right, dude, you're getting better. I promise you're getting better. It's harder for me to do that stuff to you now, but they don't feel it until they finally get that win or that success against somebody.
I always tell people, like, cops or not, people, like, I've had some family members that have recently got into jiu-jitsu, and I tell everybody the same thing. Like, it's obviously there's a ranking system within the belts, but there's also like I call it either the totem pole effect or the pecking order effect. So you walk into the gym in your first day, you're brand new, you're going to get your butt kicked, right? You're going to get your butt kicked for a few months, maybe even a few years. Then guess what? A new crop of new guys comes in, right? And guess what? You're next up, you're moving up that pecking order or that totem pole, and now you're kicking those guys' butts, right? You're still getting your butt kicked by the guys above you, but now you're a level higher and you're beating up on these other guys that are coming in, and it's going to keep going as you progress till finally you're at the top, or whatever you want to call it, of that pecking order, and you don't even realize it. You're just slowly, it's a progression. It's a slow progression for some guys. Some guys pick it up really fast. Some guys are able to move up belts or skill level really, really quick. Not everybody does, but if you stay consistent, that progression is going to come. And I always try to assure people that that's going to happen.
When I started doing martial arts, I wanted to be a black belt. And my goal was that. I remember my dad, when I was a kid, he'd say, if you want to do that, you stick to it, because I don't want that you come here and say, oh, it's too hard, I want to quit. I say, I will never let you quit. And here we are, But the thing is, the best part about becoming a black belt is that journey to the black belt. Yes. I'm telling you, if your goal is to get to black belt, I don't think that is a good reason to do martial arts.
Yeah, 100%.
Because when I became a black belt is when I pretty much start learning more than never before. Because you get there, and a lot of people think, okay, he's a black belt. No, I think I learn more after I get to the black belt level and start teaching, because and I always tell you guys that if you want to be a good martial artist, you want to be a good black belt, you got to start teaching when you are a purple belt or brown belt. Yeah. And I am really big in that. Sometimes you guys walk in here and I say, hey, I want you to teach next week, whatever day, and stuff like that, because it forces you to be technical in that specific move. It forces you to do it right. And if it's something I can tell you guys about this, is like, we all want to be black belts. We all want to get there. And there's nothing wrong with that. But be more concerned about how you get there. Because it's good. Every day you walk in here and you see a guy, then tell me if this is when you are a purple belt and you roll with a brown belt and you submit him. You feel so good. Seriously. Yeah. And it's like that every time that you roll with somebody, or when you roll with a guy with a higher belt and he beat the out of you. Now you say, I know I'm gonna get you one day. I know it's gonna happen. And those are the things that I think, as a group of friends and everything, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I want to beat him today.
Yeah.
He beat me too long already. And dude, at the end of the class, you just give him a hug, and the only way I get better if I do what I do with you. You don't get better just beating people up. You get better being humble with somebody that you. Then
For sure.
that's the best part for me about this. I see, when Adrian came here a few years ago, he was really, really good. And it's a wrestler with some jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And I was like, he's really good. Adrian now is a martial artist. Seriously. Adrian now is not a jiu-jitsu guy, and you mentioned this so many times. When you go to another gym, it's they don't like some of the stuff that we do, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
But I see you guys rolling, and it's so different now.
Definitely.
It is so different because
Well, for me, the cool thing is, like you said, when I first came here, I was a blue belt, and I had been a blue belt for a long time. And part of it was because I did not like the gi. Like, I thought the gi was a waste of time. I'm like, no one's in the gi on the streets. Now I really thoroughly enjoy the gi. But for me, the biggest thing was, like, when I came here, to that point, I hadn't, besides Captain Burton and you, like, I hadn't had someone that really kept an eye on me when I was rolling and really called me out on some of the things that I was doing. Like, hey, why are you doing this when you could do this, this, and this? And that's really what's made me better. I got stuck in my ways, and, I was having success with people, but then I would get to the upper echelon, the higher belts, and I was struggling. And you and Captain Burton really kind of broke down my game and helped me pick up on things that I had not been training. And I've just grown and grown and grown over the years being here. So, I appreciate having you guys, like, just help me get better and really paying attention to what the things that I'm doing. So
For me, the training, as a white belt, my goals, like you were talking about, that pecking order, I think that's really true. And my training every day, the goal of what I'm trying to accomplish depends on who's in front of me because of that pecking order. If it's 100%. Someone's at my level, then maybe I'm going to try to actually submit them. But if I'm rolling with one of you guys, then I don't tell you guys what my goals are, but it might just be, if I can just get past his guard, I want to stand up and cheer. Like, I got, yes. But half the time, I don't know if you guys let me do it on my, or if,
but
if
that's
just
cool.
Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. If I can sneak past your guard, whether you guys are letting me do it or not, I literally feel like I just won the Olympics. Like, I'm ready to cheer and, like, okay, I'm ready to go home. I got past it. So those goals are really specific depending on who I'm with, but it really helps. If I'm rolling with one of you guys and I have the goal that, I'm going to submit, I'm like, you're crazy. That's not going to happen. But if I can just maybe get past the guard, or if he lets me get past the guard, then I'm going to try to improve my position just a little bit, and they're going to resist. That's a win for me. That's an accomplishment.
it's the little, and and Coach, you told me this. It's the little battles every day. Start winning these little battles slowly but surely until eventually, like you told me, I remember you said you used to roll with your coach and he would submit you 30 times. And then next week, all right, this guy's only going to submit me 20 times this week. And then the next week, 10 times until eventually you were able to catch him. And sometimes when I'm out there, I forget that. But then I think about it. I'm like, all right, today I'm going to work on this particular position. And I'm only going to work on that. And if I get caught, I get caught. But I'm going to learn how to improve on that.
The way that I teach is this. Like, if I am rolling with one of you guys and you guys go for something, I am not going to stop you in the middle of the move and say, hey, you're doing it wrong, or stuff like that. I try to let you try everything and then say, this is the reason why you didn't get that. This is why that stuff isn't working, because you definitely not got to do it and know that that stuff is not going to work like that. And if I have to stop you 10 times in when we roll, I will do it. I have no problem with that. I just want you to do it right. I don't want that you made that mistake again. And sometimes I roll with Adrian and say, Adrian, this is what is happening. And it's changing everything so much.
Yeah.
Like, because you keep doing it and doing it and doing it until you get it, and it's maybe just a little tweak, then you get to doing the thing, and it's going to change absolutely everything. And I think that's why Captain Burton is really good with that, and because I want you guys to be better than where we are right now. You know what I mean? I seeing you guys getting so good. Another good example is Tyler. Oh, the guy is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Seriously, he is so good, and he is so aggressive, but seeing him doing real techniques. Before was a wrestler that was really, no, Tyler is good now.
Yeah.
And the good thing, and I always tell people, ask. Any doubt that you have about any submission, just ask it, because that's the only way that we get better. That's the only way that we get it. And now going back to you guys' regular life, normal life, is do you guys still, like right now, after I don't know how many years being a cop, do you feel like good telling people, when people ask you, what do you do for a living? Do you feel comfortable saying, oh, I am a police officer? Or did you guys don't feel comfortable telling people that you met, like if you met somebody in the street or something, in the mall, and you start talking to that person, and, hey, what do you do for a living? I always ask people that. I always ask because people ask me, hey, what do you do for a living? I just roll with my friends.
For me, I don't volunteer it. I just don't go around telling people. But if someone asks what I do, I'll tell them. But I think you're a little bit leery about telling people because a lot of people have had bad experiences with the police. You don't know what their background is. And it might be something where I would like to have a relationship with you. So get to know me. And then when you find out I'm a cop, you'll already like me, rather than immediately you find out I'm a cop and you have these maybe some negative past experiences, and now we don't have a chance of even getting to know each other. So I don't necessarily volunteer it everywhere I go. I don't wear anything that says I'm a police officer away from work. You'll see guys that have their cop T-shirts on and stuff. I don't wear anything like that. But I'm proud of what I do. But there are a lot of people. Some people have had legitimate bad experiences with police, and you don't know how they're going to react. So let's just get to know each other first before you judge me for what I do.
Before you get to say how you doing, I put this shirt and I just go around. I don't care, and I can hear the comments of people when they see me walking. The other day I went to a place, and after this class that we have, and on Wednesdays I always wear this, and I went to the place, and I was eating, and when I went through, it was a fast food place. I hear one of the guys saying that, oh, he's a cop, and then I am like, I just want to see how they and maybe because of my size and all that kind of stuff, and people think I'm a cop, probably. But I feel like, I imagine, how do you guys feel if you hear somebody say, oh, he's a cop? Do you take it like as a compliment, or you say, maybe this guy?
Yeah, kind of like Liam. I'm very proud of what I do. I'm proud to tell my friends and family that I'm a police officer. But yeah, I don't volunteer it a ton either. At least in like quick exchanges, right? Like if we were in the mall, or like it's my son's first practice, and I'm meeting the other parents, I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm a cop. You know what I mean? But once people get to know me, then I have zero issues telling them what I do. And my wife likes to tell everyone what I do a lot, and I'm always like, give me a few minutes, I'll get to it later. I'll get to that at some point, because she's very proud of me, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, I think most of us, for the most part, have zero issues telling people that they have met and have had a few conversations with. But yeah, I don't wear my police. I'll wear it here in Fontana because I work here, and sometimes like on the way to and from work I have it on. But yeah, like at home I'm just wearing regular stuff. I don't prefer people not to know without me getting to know them.
Now, before Adrian, how many people in your neighborhood know that you're a cop? It's like, did,
Not what you mean. There's two different things. How many people have I told, or how many people has my wife
like,
told?
like people see you like in my neighborhood. How many people know I have the gym?
Yeah.
How many people know? You know, it's not too many.
No.
You know, then they know until I just say, oh, we have the gym. Oh, you are so and so, and then people, you know, connect me with the gym, but. There's not too many people, and
Yeah, I think like my one immediate neighbor to the right, we knew him before I moved in, so he knew. The neighbor across the street, she was just having me tell my wife that her son was applying to be a police officer, so she told him I was. But I think other than those two on my street, I don't think anyone else knows.
Really? What about you, Adrian?
As far as my neighborhood, so I live in like a little close, small gated community, and my wife is actually really close with a lot of the neighbors, and my kids are. They have a lot of kids that are the same age as my kids. So I would say probably everybody in my neighborhood knows what I do. And sometimes to my detriment, because like I said, people are always asking me questions about, you know, getting it legal advice. And again, hey, can you sign my ticket and stuff like that? And, you know, it could be a little cumbersome at times. But to answer your question, like I'm with them. I don't just go around chanting that I'm a police officer or trying to make it known. But there was a period of time, especially when I was working like undercover, I would lie a lot. I would tell people like I would just make up something, you know. I would one of the main things I would tell people is, oh, I work for the city of Fontana. Oh, you work for the city? Like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I work for Public Works. I would just, you know, just random stuff. But now I haven't had any bad experiences, luckily, like telling people. People definitely look at you different, I would say. Like, you know, stand a little straighter when you tell them, but I personally haven't had any issues, but again, just to kind of touch on what I already said, like I want people to know me for me, not for what I do for work.
I want people to know then you guys are amazing. Seriously. That's what I want. Every time that I talk about doing a podcast with you guys, I just want the people, I wish everybody know you guys at the level that I know you guys, at the personal level where I, you know, sometimes I joke too much about stuff with you guys because I honestly consider you guys my friends. I am. Adrian is not my police officer friend. It's my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like that. Like sometimes I'm talking with Captain Burton and I know him for so many years that hey Jim, and stuff like that, or dude, or stuff like, and I feel bad. And one day I told him, I say, hey, coach, don't worry about it. You know, we have been friends for, but I wish everybody that have a bad experience with a cop had the opportunity to meet you guys, because we all have a bad experience with a cop.
Yeah.
You know,
I have. Yeah,
I
my own
had one
experiences.
long time ago, many years ago, but it was my fault. You know what I mean? And we want to blame a guy for doing his job. And that's what I always tell people, you know, like, you know, I was going 70 and a 35. And I got pulled over. He say, you know, dude, what's wrong with you? Are you drunk? And I say, no, I don't drink. Are you high? I say, no, I don't do that. And he asked me like 4 times. He put the light in my eyes and everything. I don't know. You know, maybe that's what you guys supposed. And he asked me like 3 times. And then at the end, I say, sir, there are more chances for you to get high than me. Our relationship got broken. And my ticket was really expensive. Yeah. But you know, he was doing his job and stuff like that. And it's hard for us sometimes to accept, like, dude, you're doing something stupid. Yeah. But apart from that, I never had another, you know, experience like that. But my idea with this podcast is that I wish people come to Aguirre Fighting System and say, hey, you talk with these guys. I want to, you know more about them or stuff like that. Or because we have a lot of cholitos in the class, and you guys know that we have a lot of guys. Then when you come at 6 p.m., they don't even know you guys are cops. Yeah. And you guys roll with these guys, and you guys have a relationship with these guys, then when you tell them, "Oh, I'm a cop," they are like, "Are you serious? Really? I never get it."
Yeah.
You know, that is the coolest thing, especially in those classes at 6 p.m. Then you guys coming here, and it's not a survival tactic class. It's not. It's just let's roll.
Yeah.
Let's beat each other up. And when is the best part for me. The best part is that seeing that, sometimes Adrian rolling with one, you rolling with another one, and it's good to see that there's no difference. It's just a good friends rolling, learning.
Your belt promotions are really fun to come to because you do them on the weekend, and it's all of your classes, and there's a lot of people here, and it's half cops, half just community members. Maybe some people have done things in the past they're not proud of, but no one's talking about it. Nobody cares. We're all just here clapping for everyone getting their belt promotions or whatever it may be. And I think it's kind of one of those things. I think it's really good to talk about for like our city that pays for us to come train here with you. And it's great for our defensive tactics and getting better and training and all that. But there's a lot of like community building going on that no one's really thinking about or making an effort to go read Dr. Seuss in my police uniform. And there's value to that, but we're doing it here organically. Like maybe they don't initially know that we're cops or I don't ask anybody if they've ever been arrested or what they're doing. And maybe, and then we're all just training at the same gym, having a good time. And I think the belt promotions are a really good, like, demonstration of that.
Especially the last belt promotion we have so many people here, and I see you guys talking with everybody around, and it feels good to see it. The kids get excited being around you guys, and sometimes they ask me, "Hey, coach, can we bring the cops one day to hang out with the kids?" And I told Captain Brother, he said, "Coach, anytime." That is the good thing with Brotherhood. I can never say no to you guys because every time that I say something, he's always, "Yeah, coach." Then that is the mutual respect that we have. Then and friendship. It's not so much respect. It's that then that we see it like that. It's more like, "Hey, you need me? I'm here." You know what I mean? And that last belt promotion was so good. There were probably like 200-300 people here.
Yeah. That was a lot.
It was crazy, and seeing everybody just hanging out with everybody, and it was good. It was good.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see, like Lieutenant was saying, like it's very organic, and everyone's here, everyone's excited, and everyone's excited for each other. You get to see your training partners leveling up to a sense, and everyone's really supportive of each other, whether we're cops or not. Like we got guys that we've been training here with for years, Danny, Francisco, and when we see those guys get promoted, we're just as excited as we are when we see our partners get promoted. So it's a really, really cool event, and it's really exciting. And I like to bring my kids, because I like them to see, like, hey, this is what, when the community, has a common goal and gets together, like, this is what it looks like.
That's so good. And the kids, I always ask Adrian, bring your kid here because I want him to roll with some of the kids here because he's really good. And that will help even your kid. Yeah. And see another kids in a tournament and say, "Oh, I roll with that kid in that gym," and create that family, especially martial arts are like that. Yeah. There's a lot of people, and they don't like you because you beat them up in a tournament, or they love to compete against you. I don't have problem with any gym owner in the area because I go there and compete against them and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, the coaches can give me a big hug and say, "Hey, good job," or stuff like that. And it's something that the reason why it's good for me is because I don't take this personal. If one of my guys go and beat up some kid, hey, good. I go and check the coach. If his kid beat my kid, I check his hand too. Yeah. Because this is a sport. This is something that we gotta do it, and the community appreciate that kind of stuff when you do that. Just going and rolling with guys from all the gyms in the area. I have a friend. I can mention that one because he's a good friend, Joe Stevenson, and Jim trained with Joe and everything. Dude, when my kid compete against his kid, we go at it, like seriously. And unfortunately for me, Joe is loud. He's so loud. Then I'm coaching my kid, he's coaching his kid, and my kid is listening to Joe. I say, hey, stop listening to freaking Joe. And Joe is laughing. And we never take this out of that. It's so good to see that there is coaches there, then they do it for the good of everybody around. And that's what I want to, put in you guys' heart. I don't know, maybe one day you own a gym or you own an academy and stuff like that. And it would be good to keep passing that to the next generation, because I hear kids that I used to teach 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and now they have kids. And sometimes I get text message from these guys and thanks me for the influence that I have in their lives, and thanks for this and that. And I want to pass that to everybody, and I want you guys to pass it to everybody that you hang out with, because it's important. There is so much stuff in martial arts right now. Then it's not about what martial arts really are. Then it's just building you in so many different ways. It's more about money and about fame and about all this kind of stuff. I want to keep it like the way that we're supposed to. I want the people respect you because you're a martial artist. I respect every martial artist. I'm telling you, people criticize people. If you go and you get in front of somebody, then it's gonna punch your face, or it's gonna grapple you to death. And how many people have the guts to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's so hard, and sometimes we put so much stress even in the kids. We talk about that. Hey, let the kid go and have fun and enjoy the ride, and because they have to deal with the pressure of that, the pressure of the coach, the pressure of people watching it, and then they got to deal with the kid that is in front of them. Yeah. There's so many things. Let's go there, have fun, enjoy the ride, and
something you guys were talking about earlier, like the bad experience with officers. And I just think I would really like all of our officers to come here to that 6 o'clock class, the no-gi, because you come in, it's just a regular class. Like you said, it's not defensive tactics. You don't know who anybody is. You don't know what their belt level is. And go roll with them. You can't tell how good someone is in there. And you get beat up by a guy that you would probably think, if you got a little bit of an ego, oh, I could handle this guy. And he is mopping you up. And I think it would be really good for officers. It makes you more respectful of people, because you realize real quickly at that 6 o'clock class, you can't tell what someone's capable of by looking at them. You might think you can tell, but there's some skinny guy that you got 50 pounds on him and you got muscles, and then he is just wearing you out and beating you up. And you're like, okay, this is different. I think for officers, it would make you a little more humble and a little more careful how you approach people, because you can't tell what someone's capable of. It might just be some little guy that you think is kind of a nerd, and he can beat you up bad really fast too. And it would make you more careful how you treat people for our officers, for sure.
You're talking about Justin, huh?
Well, maybe Justin, but there's some other, not just Justin, kidding. But there's some, he's dangerous. I mean, he's
like 120 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, he's dominating. Yeah. He's dominating. I mean, he's a school teacher. He's such a nice guy. He'll beat you up if he wants to. Yeah. But there's other guys that are kind of overweight, and they're not particularly threatening until you're rolling with them, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm drowning. And it'd be very good for all of our officers to come in and just deal with that. And it humbles you, and it makes you respectful, and it makes you want to be careful and not give someone a justified reason to beat you up because you were rude to them. Like, because you don't know. You can't tell by looking. I always thought you could tell by looking. You can't tell by looking unless they have the ears that are really torn up, or somehow in their demeanor they communicate it to you. But generally, there's some very average-looking, normal, everyday kind of guys that are here that they are really dangerous guys if they want to be, and it's very humbling to deal with them.
I always wanted you to have cauliflower ear, but you don't like it for whatever reason.
I think you have to be able to back it up. I can't back it
up. Before we go, Kellen, tell everybody that listen to this, cups, then we have our own curriculum, and we are gonna start teaching some.
Yeah, so we now have a post-certified instructor course. It's Fontana PD in association with the AFS. So we haven't had our first class yet. We'll start rolling it out soon, but it's an instructor course. Like, you will be certified through AFS, through Fontana PD with a post-certification, so that then you can go back and teach our curriculum to your department as a certified instructor through us. And why that's important is I think there's a lot of really good schools out there and a lot of really good programs. Yes, I am partial to what we do here, but I can express it from my point of view that I started at a straight up jiu-jitsu gym, and it was cool. There was a good place. I learned a lot. I got humbled there, and this is what started my journey. And then I started training with Jim and you, and then I realized, there's not only levels to this, but there's a completely more aggressive and actually much more practical style to what we do. A lot more top control. And then, as that was evolving and I was learning, top control and wrestling, things I didn't know or wasn't very good at, then the law started to change on us, right? Like, we can't use carotids anymore. And they have really left us with control and joint locks. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of traditional joint locks in these other programs, but there's a lot more joint locks from a lot of different angles and a lot of things that I wouldn't have thought of from those positions, but they're in positions where we're not putting ourselves in danger. So long-winded, the point of this curriculum is just to offer a different look at how we can control people based on what we are and are not allowed to do anymore, but be as effective and as safe as possible. And I think people will find a lot of value in it.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, just on that, I've gone to quite a few different law enforcement related defensive tactics courses. And my biggest issue that I've had with them is just the practicalities of them. Like, it's a lot of times it's very, very watered down. And I think what we're doing is very practical and it's very effective. So, Gracie, we're taking over. So be ready for that. Just be ready. I'm really excited and I'm really happy that we were able to get this done. And when I say us, I mean mainly yourself, LT, and Captain Burton are like the main catalysts for that. So I'm really excited, and I can't wait to start making other people instructors.
Oh, I forgot the best part. Ours is free.
Yep. Oh, and we're free.
Can't be free, Gracie.
Yeah, it's rolling. No, and that is the good thing. I actually invited a few guys already from Ontario. Awesome. I talked to Jose from Riverside, and I mentioned to Sean, I want the first class to have at least 15, 20 guys. And like you guys say, it's free. Like, and you did. I don't want to brag, but it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really good, and it's effective too.
Yeah.
Then
it's not. It's obvious if we're doing it for free, so it's obviously not about the money. Like, this is not a cash grab. This is not a way for us to fund our unit or fund our department. Like, we just want to make obviously our own guys, but law enforcement as a whole better. So that's the main goal here.
Anything else, Leon, that you want to tell us before we just close the?
No, it's really been great. I mean, as a white belt, it's been such a positive experience, and like you were saying, it's stuff that works in here. That's, I think, the most important thing. A lot of the tactics we learn, it's passive. Nobody's resisting. If something works in here, it's against somebody who's trying to stop you from doing it. And so it's truly effective, and it's been just really a positive experience. And I mentioned being beat up and stuff. It's actually, everyone here is very nice. They could beat you up, but most of the time someone's getting a submission on me and they're letting it go before I even have time to tap. So I never get hurt here. There's been times when I didn't even recognize I was in trouble and guys let it go, and I had to ask them afterwards, hey, was that a submission? And then they showed it to me because I didn't even recognize it and they were releasing it. So, for anybody who's interested, coach does not let anybody hurt you in here, and that would be a mistake. Nobody in here is a bully. They could be, but nobody in here is a bully, and it's it's a really safe environment and a really positive place to grow and get better.
Thank you.
I'm not answering to coach if I hurt a white belt. That's for sure. So you'll be fine.
No, but that is the coolest thing, that we can hurt each other, but we choose to learn instead of
learning. Yeah.
And it is the best part. What about you, Adrian? Anything else before we?
No, I think we talked about it last time, but the last thing I'll say is like, especially for our guys, if you guys watch this, listen to it, whatever the case may be, like just get in here and train. Like today, I was super stoked to see a guy from my actual patrol team, and I've been preaching the last few months since I've been back, like, hey guys, come train, and he's one of the first guys that actually showed up today. So I'm really excited, and I just want to see more people come out here and get better.
And for me, it's I just want to thank you guys for giving us like hour and a half after the class just to come here and hang out and just talk about what is something that I want people to know that you guys are just great and you guys are. I really love you guys and appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Love being here.
Chop chop.
Yeah.
With that, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
That
Coach.
was great.